put in place, and I'll let you know when we get there. I don't know, 14. All right. So I'm going to summarize everything we've done. We learned that angle, side, the single ones, don't work. Seems like a long time ago. This is the first day. Then we did side, side, angle, angle, side, angle, and they did not work. These are 4, 2, 4, 3 notes. So I am doing a congruent triangle unit here. And the book is definitely a supplement. You've got 3 worksheets coming up. So single angle, single side don't work. Side, side, angle, angle, side, angle don't work. Then we got into combos of 3 letters. And then we started to get results. All right. So when we go to this page, let's just review real quick. What is this combo?
Side, side, side.
Good. And this combo?
Angle, angle.
Angle, angle, side. And this combo? Angle, angle, angle. This combo? And this combo? And this combo? Now, we have one more. What did we learn today?
Wait, no, why wouldn't the last one be?
Hold on, I didn't say, because the angle's not between the 2 sides. A is outside the 2 S's. This would be side, angle, side. It has to do, the angle's not included between the 2 sides. This side is included between those 2 angles. We had another one that we just did, and that one had to have a right angle, and this was called hypotenuse leg. Now, the hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle, but you have 2 legs to choose from. It could have been this leg, or it could have been that leg. All right. So, all right. You could hypotenuse leg. This is the hypotenuse. It could have been this leg, or this is also a leg. Oh, no. Let's go back through. Which ones worked? SSS, side, side, side worked. Angle, angle, side worked. Did angle, angle, angle? No. Did side, angle, side? Did angle, side, angle? Did side, side, angle? There is no donkey theorem. Get it?
That means you can't put the A word.
There is no donkey theorem, unless it's HL. HL did work.
What do you mean there is no donkey theorem?
You'll get it.
You're dumb.
Like, no, I'm saying, like, you can't put that on paper? No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't?
Angle or side, side, angle?
I mean, it's not side.
Whatever you want to look at it as, but it doesn't work. There is no donkey theorem.
Like you lost.
This is the donkey theorem. There is no donkey theorem for this triangle. Side, side, angle. All right. So these are, we've already summarized these. These are those side, side, side written out in words. I don't think you want to go there. So I will go ahead and do this. Ones that worked: side, 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 angle, side. Angle, side, angle, 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 side, and hypotenuse leg. What did not work? Angle, 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 and side, side, angle. I believe on your worksheet today there may be some that do not work. You need to tell me. Does not guarantee congruence. By the way, you need to know this. This is fundamental for your next test. You need to know what works and what doesn't. But yeah, you got to know. You have to know all of the, well, you need the triple. We're not going to go to the singles or the doubles. However, it wouldn't have made sense if we didn't go there. Well, the order is the way that it's marked. This angle must be included between the two sides. This side must be in between the two angles. This side cannot be between the two angles.
Having side angle does not work when you have the angle between the two sides.
Right. And that's what we just did all those investigations. All right. So now, this next piece is fundamentally important. This is a key. All right? This is a key. All right? This is a key for the entire unit. All right. Whatever. So, there are two things that you can pick off a diagram without it being marked, and only two things. You can't assume that this angle is congruent to that angle because it looks like it. You can't assume that AB is congruent to CB because it looks like it. However, look at this side right here. Is this side BD a side of the left triangle? And is it a side of the right triangle? So must BD be congruent to itself? Yes. So this is called, we'd say BD is congruent to BD, and that is called reflexive. Congruent to itself means reflexive. It's a reflexive property. Now, could you have angles that were the same? If I drew these two triangles, okay, this angle right here is in this triangle, and it's also in that triangle. So this angle would be congruent to itself by reflexive. You are going to see the sides more often. I don't know.
Miss Bride, I'm saying like the angles that are at the top of B are the angles that are
Okay, what tells you that? Because it looks that way?
I don't know.
You can't go with looks. You've got to be given information.
But it's part of both triangles.
I don't care. BD, the entire side. This angle right here has nothing to do with anything in that triangle.
So then,
That angle has nothing, is only in the left triangle. It is not in the right triangle. But BD is in both.
what's the other thing you can tell?
We can't.
You said it's two things.
I said if I draw this picture. Okay, two things. There's only one thing in this diagram. So basically, if they share a side, you can pick that off a diagram. So let's go down here. What can you see here that you know are congruent?
A and E.
A and E, there's no guarantee that A is congruent to E.
Stop acting like
C is congruent to itself.
But AE is not all in this triangle or all in that triangle. AC, no.
C, the angle,
What about C?
the angle of C.
Oh my
What angle's at C?
What is the point of
BCE and AC
Okay, BCE
is congruent to AC.
is congruent to ACD. That is correct. However, they're not inside the triangles. Can you name two that are inside? DCE is congruent to ACB. What type of those? You know this. That's correct. Angle ACB is congruent to angle DCE. And the reason is vertical angles are congruent. That was a theorem we had a long time ago. ACD. No, because it's not in the triangle. It's outside the triangle. All right. BOLO. Do you know what BOLO is? Police put out BOLOs. That means be on lookout. Be on lookout. Okay? What are you supposed to be on the lookout for? Two things. Shared side and what? Vertical angles. Focus. All right, let me show you. So be on the lookout. BOLO, shared side vertical angles. Always check to see if they're in your pictures. So this is what your homework is like today. We're starting with baby steps. Notice the diagram has some markings already in it. You are to mark the diagram with what you know that's not already marked. What's the only thing we know? TR. That is a shared side. So now, what's the congruent statement? What combo is this? What combo?
Reflexive.
Side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side.
Side.
Okay, the sides are marked. So it's side, side, side. So this says set up the theorem, set up the congruence theorem vertically. These are side, side, side. Now, you have to justify each one of these. So I'm going to ask Brian to name one pair of sides that are marked. ST is congruent to. All right, you've named the sides, but we got to name them better. You started with S. What corresponds to the other triangle? A. We can't say TA, we have to say AT. The reason why we have to say AT is because Brian chose to do ST. Therefore, we must do AT. By the way, those marks were already there. This is called given. All right, I need another pair of sides. That goes to Ethan. What's another pair of sides? Ethan? SR is congruent to, you started with S. What corresponds? AR. And were those already marked? Then that was given. Okay, so Hale has our third. What's our third, Hale? TR is congruent to TR, and T corresponds to T, and R corresponds to R. But it was not given. We put those marks there. So what told us that? Reflexive. All right? Yep. This is how you're going to do your homework. Now, we're going to put all of this together, and we're going to say triangle. Stephanie's going to name the left triangle any way she wants. Left triangle. Name it any way you want. STR. Now, the next side is, it's not any way. It is now set. Caitlin, how do we name this side? ATR. And the reason why she chose A first is because A corresponds to S, and S was first. T corresponds to T, and R corresponds to R. And what is this called? What's the reason? Nope. What's the reason? Side, side, side. The triangle congruent to triangle is one of the combos. But you see, you kind of had to know the combo to start with in order to know what you had to justify. All right? That is not that much work. If you think this is a lot of work, then you wait till Tuesday. All right. So now, let's look at this picture. What can we mark that is not already marked? SE and AP. Why? Because they look it?
No, because they're speaking vertical and marked.
Okay, SE is not vertical, AP. Segments are not vertical.
No, the angles.
Where? Okay, but you told me sides. Okay, are there vertical angles? Yes. So I'm going to mark my vertical angles. So the next thing you determine is what is the combo? It's side, angle, side. So I'm going to specifically ask Lizzie to name one pair of sides. AC is congruent to EC. And how do you know that? Because it's marked, meaning, and it was marked before we got there, it was given. All right? So now we're going to have Maria name our angles. Can't do angle C because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 angles there. You need 3 letters. Okay, angle SCE. Be careful in the next one. Does A correspond to S? It does? Okay, so let me give you a little clue. She started with S, which is single mark, and then she went to the double mark. So we've got to start where we go over the single mark before the double mark. Now, that was pink. That was not given. What's that reason? No, they're not the same. What are they? Vertical angles are congruent. All right. So now we need one more side. What's the other pair of sides? Madison King? CP is congruent to CS. Nice corresponding of the vertices. Question. Were those already given? All right. Now, from here, You've got to give me the concluding statement. Wendy, you can name the left triangle any way you want. Any way you want. SCE. Now, to name the next one, it is not a choice. What do you have to do, Wendy? PCA. Excellent. And what was this reason? SAS. Side angle side.
Wait, hold on. So, wouldn't it be APC?
What corresponds to S? It's a single mark and a no mark. P is the single mark and the no mark. C, this is C. C is between the single and the double. This C is between the single and the double. And then A is between the double and no mark, so we need the one between the double and no mark. Did you hear my thinking process? This is how I make sure my vertices are done well. All right, I'm going to go to another one. And I'm going to pretend like, because this is the next step, I'm going to pretend like this is not there. All right, we were not given this. Instead, that statement. Instead, this was given to you in black. All right, looking at these two triangles, you only have two things. You need three. What's the third thing you get from the diagram? How do you know RP is congruent to PO? What tells you that? It's not. Nope, HL tells you triangles are congruent. What can you get from that diagram? There's only two things you can get from a diagram.
RU and UO is congruent.
How do you know that?
Because of the 90 degrees.
There are no perpendicular lines.
UP is congruent to UP.
The only thing you can get from a diagram that you are not already told is shared side or vertical angles. All right, so what is this combo? Combo? Huh? Angle, side, angle. All right, Hale, do you want to give me an angle or a side?
Wait, why is it angle side?
Angle, right angle, side, angle. What do you want to give me? Okay, which side? UP is congruent to UP. Now that was not given, so what is that? Because it's a shared side. Shared sides are always reflexive. Okay, I need an angle, and we're going to need three letters. Brittany Rhodes? P-O-U. Is it marked? You got to grab one that's marked. Do you want to do these marks, or do you want to do the right angles? You pick it. R-U-O is a straight line. R-U what? P. So angle R-U-P and then correspond it to the other one. What is it congruent to? If you did R, you have to start with O-U-P. Was that already marked? Yeah, pretend it was already marked. All right, what's our third angle, Maria? Or our second set? Come on. She's named the right ones. You got to name these. Can't start with P. That's the vertex. U, P, O. U, P, O is congruent to U, P, R. That was already marked. So, Lucas, give me a triangle on the, give me the upper triangle.
The upper triangle,
RPU is congruent to O corresponds to RPU. And what is our reason? Angle, side, angle. These combos always verify triangle congruent to triangle. It does not verify angles. It does not verify sides. It does not verify angles. It's only when your triangles are congruent. That is the way your worksheet is. Again, this is the ground floor. All right, you need to do this homework this weekend because we're going to go to the second and third floors next week. And if you don't have a first floor, then it's going to be an issue.